Hi, perhaps you recognize me. It's your favorite president.
We will decide who comes to this country and the circumstances in which they come.
And if the yes vote is successful, we will be divided forever.
What does confrontation mean? It means you fight for what you believe.
We've got Trumpomania running this country, brother.
Unless you're scripted, you're useless.
I was saved by God to make America great again.
We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Commanding the Narrative. My name is Stephen Tripp. Thank you to everyone who is watching this. If you are watching this live on Facebook, Rumble, or YouTube, you can contribute to today's conversation either in the chat or please call in. The link to StreamYard is in the chat already. So if you want to call in and have your say, we are living through some extraordinarily important world events, moments of history. So we want to hear what you have to say about all of it. So don't be shy, don't be afraid. Hit that StreamYard link and talk to all of our smiling faces. But welcome, we're back again. This is one of my favorite podcasts, I must say, when I'm with you gentlemen. And I don't know why. It's like self-inflicted torture.
You're a sadist. He loves the pain, guys.
Talking about self-inflicted trauma, Mr. Councillor Adam Zahra, how can you sit there in a jacket in this heat?
Because I'm paying my respects to President Trump, and this is my Trump outfit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it will last.
No, it'll stay on today. So.
Okay. Hey, mate,
I got married in 42-degree heat, and we were in suits and vests.
I don't know how you do it.
We're good.
Yeah, but you can only say an hour today.
Yes,
so.
Apologies to the viewers. I can only stay for an hour today. I'm actually going out to support a local Campbelltown person who is debuting in, well, not debuting. It's a full. She has a full role in a feature length film, starring role in a film. Sorry, in a feature film. I don't even know the wording for it. I haven't been to the movies for so long. I've got to be honest. But yeah, so I'm going to go and help her, support her as best I can, a Campbelltown girl and a friend of mine. So it's going to be pretty good.
See, now that you're a councillor, you've got no time for podcasts. He's got to go do council duties, support the Campbelltown community.
No, I drove all the way from Campbelltown to here in a car that might have broken down. So I think we're all right.
Mr. Sam Buono,
hey,
welcome.
Stephen, happy New Year, mate.
Yes.
Yeah, it's our first one for the New Year.
Yes, I would say so.
So it was before Christmas or New Year.
I had Adam on. Adam and I did a very good podcast last week where we talked about a lot of issues, but I think that's the first time I've had you gentlemen on.
Yeah. So another New Year. Been running around.
Maybe move the microphone a bit closer to you, Sam.
Been running around a bit for me, but some personal issues, but nothing with me, but close family and mother. So
yes,
I've been running around the last week or two, but barring that, I'm okay.
Yes, so Sam's mum took a turn. So if you want to pray for Sam's mum or send some well wishes, I'm sure it'd be appreciated. She's on the mend though, right?
Oh yeah, she's okay. Yeah, she's a tough old thing.
Talking about tough old things, Mr. Richard Storch.
Thank you, Stephen.
How are you, Richard? Thank you.
I am aware I'm the oldest person in the room.
Are you really? Yeah. Older than Sam?
Yeah.
Okay.
Much older.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So I think it's 5 years, isn't it?
I think it's
something like that.
Yeah, about 5.
Okay. All right. We've got a lot to cover today. I don't know if I'll be able to keep up with all of it, but first off, I want to do a quick shout out in the entrance or the opening of Commanding the Narrative. You would have seen that Churchill quote about never surrendering. That's in tribute to Lee Evans, who many people would know after watching this podcast, has been on previous shows, is the chairman of the Global Discussion Forum. He's battling cancer. He's got a type of cancer where a whole bunch of tumors pop up in his body all the time. He's constantly having surgery, cutting them out. He's going into surgery this week again. And I said, mate, you remind me of that Churchill quote. I'm going to it's only a small gesture. I obviously can't help him with his cancer or anything like that. It's just a small gesture. It's a tribute to Lee because he's helped me a lot and been a bit of a mentor as well. So big shout out to Lee and all the best, mate. We don't like hearing anyone.
No.
We're speaking about your mum and now Lee, a lot of people suffering with health issues. So
prayers for these for all these
Everyone,
people is really important. And I think if you're not religious, even well thoughts and just send some good energy to those people's direction, and I think we can help them get through it.
Yeah, Yep, definitely. Now, let's kick things off like we always do, just by letting you know, if you want to support us, please head to Buy Me a Coffee. You can throw us a few dollars there. It helps to pay for the live stream, the subscription to StreamYard, helps to pay for the website, and also, most importantly, gives us a warm and fuzzy feeling inside, which we do need after, sharing stories like we have done just then. If you want to contribute to us directly, you can head to the Commanding the Narrative website, hit the donate button. You can donate to us directly. Some people prefer that. They don't like going through Buy Me a Coffee. So it's just another option for anyone who wants to, like we have in the most recent weeks. Some people have been contributing very generously. So that's been much appreciated. Got a comment already. Good afternoon from Victoria, gents. Mr. Jordan Ditloff is watching.
G'day, Jordan.
G'day, Jordan. The lead candidate for Victoria for the Libertarian Party down in Victoria.
Nice to have you here, Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan's there in the background. Also, if you want to stay up to date with what we're doing, and we're doing a lot, and elections coming up, so there's going to be quite a busy time. Head to commandingthenarrative.com and hit the sign up button in the top right hand corner. You get a weekly newsletter from me. You also get to keep up to date with all the podcasts that we have done previously, any podcasts coming up, any articles that I might write, which will be here. Also, upcoming events. Unfortunately, I've got to announce this: the Freedom Rally that I have been talking about over the last few weeks, that's been cancelled. Now, if you have been planning to go down to Canberra for the Freedom Rally that was meant to be in February, it's been cancelled. So there may be another event postponed and scheduled for another date, but please don't go down to Canberra, and also spread the word to people as well if they were planning to go down to Canberra, which I know a lot of people were planning to go down to Canberra, but unfortunately for a number of different reasons, we've had to cancel that rally.
We still love freedom, by the way.
Yes.
Still got to fight for it, and it's a battle that we have to fight for every day.
Look, there's a number of reasons why some of them are outside our control, or the group that I was part of that was organizing it. I didn't really have a notable role, but enough to pass on the message to all of you. So please spread the word if anyone was planning to go down to Canberra. Now, Australians for Better Government. This is an initiative that I've been kicking off with Kevin Lockray. Please head to the website, australiansforbetter.com, sign up to be a member. It's currently free. It won't be like that forever. Probably by the end of the month or early next month, we'll incur a charge. That's just to keep everything rolling. But be a foundation member, sign up for free. There's a Zoom meeting this weekend with Kevin and I and all the members. So we want to be interactive with our members. So it's not just signing up and
numbers.
Good. It's a steady stream. I've been really encouraged by all every day I get an email from people. A press release went out. This press release went out yesterday, announcing the launch of Australians for Better Government. They went up to all the media. So things are moving. We're getting a lot of feedback. A lot of people want to join us actually and jump on board and contribute. John the Boy is with us. Hello, John the Boy.
Oh, John the Boy.
Richard's favorite, John the Boy. So yes, please sign up to be part of Australians for Better Government. It should be some great stuff this year. We will announce, and as we get the ball rolling. Also, I want to let you know about Let's Rethink Renewables. I haven't mentioned this before, apart from an interview that I did with Jim Wilmot. Now, these guys have been doing great things. We've got some, hopefully, some big plans coming up throughout the year and approaching the election. Now, let's rethink renewables. So you can see this banner here with the koala, and it says wildlife habitats are unrenewable. Once they're gone for good. Now the plan is to put up these billboards, these banners in electorates to sway the public to wake up to what's happening with the renewables rollout, which we've spoken about before on the podcast. Katie McCallum and Jim Wilmot have been doing this up in Queensland. I turned around to them. I said, look, you need to be coming down to Sydney and doing these in Teal electorates, and also maybe Chris Bowen's electorate or other places. All the artwork's done. Everything's trademarked and ready to go. We just need donors. If you want to have these banners up in your electorate, maybe put it on a billboard or just have a physical banner that you want to hold up at an intersection sometime.
I mean, gee whiz, just get some call flutes printed and put them up outside your house even. I mean, that's really cheap and that's easy to do.
All you need to do is head to the website, let'srethinkrenewables.org, or you can just email me directly at commandingthenarrative@outlook.com. That's probably the best way. And,
What about Australians for Better Government? Can we contact you on there?
Yes, you can. It's stephen.tripp@australiansforbetter.com is the email. So all those things should be in the show notes. I include them every single week. So if you want to reach out to us and organize something there, please do so. Another shout out. There's a lot happening. You're better off just signing up to the newsletter to get all this sort of stuff. But earlier in the week, I was on the Awakened Aussies podcast with Dave right now, the Dusty Bogan, and also Brian Madigan. So that was an excellent show and a good discussion that we had on the Awaken Aussies. Please head to their Rumble page and follow them. But one of the things that Brian Madigan brought up is that there's an initiative by the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet that you can contact your local member, your federal member of Parliament or your senator, and request a free Australian flag, which I did. You'll see here, nicely wrapped by Zahra Stegel. A nice member for Warringah here. I had to actually go into Miss Stegel's office to get this flag. But hats off to Zahra Stegel and also the Prime Minister, Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet.
Is that the whole package you got?
That's the whole package I got.
I'm going to tell you something. There is talk about.
I haven't even opened this yet.
There is inequality.
Yeah,
inequality between the areas.
Hey, this is the advantage of living in the North Shore.
This is an inequality because I also took Stephen's advice and I got a flag from Australia, an Australian flag from my federal member. My flag is actually smaller than his flag. I didn't get that book. I basically just got that package there.
You want to have a look at the book?
Oh, I'm going to keep it.
No, you're not.
Oh, yeah.
It's mine. What I want to say is, hats off to, I always give the Teals and Zahra a hard time and also the Labor government. But this is an excellent initiative. I was worried that this would be made in China, but believe it or not, made in Australia.
Australian-made flag.
I don't know if you want to do the honours, Mr. Buono or Mr. Storch.
Okay.
It's, I think everyone should be contacting. Let's not have it upside down.
Oh my goodness! Come on, guys! Don't let it touch the ground either.
We're working with professionals. Very good. That's good enough. I think that everyone can see that we've got the flag, and I think
that's
everyone.
A nice flag.
That's a nice flag. Everyone should be contacting their local member, especially
Absolutely.
in the lead up to Australia Day.
I must comment that this is not natural fabric. This is all polyester. So
Wow.
therefore it's a carbon-based flag.
Made from the oil industry, you're saying?
Yes.
Well, I've got to be honest with you,
Shock
though.
horror.
At least it's Australian made.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
That is a positive.
Yes.
I'll bet you this fabric didn't come from Australia though.
Maybe we can hang it up on the show. Here we go. We'll hang it up. How's that? Is that all right, Richard?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need an Australian flag in here. I've got an Australian flag on my lapel.
Yes. So yeah, I encourage everyone to reach out to their local member. Just email them. Zahra Stegel's office got back to me that afternoon, so they move quickly, and I know a lot of people have been doing the same.
And to the Campbelltown Federal Office, I would like my book, please.
Don't take that off me.
I won't take it off. It's okay. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it because we've gone 15 minutes
15
of
minutes
introductions.
of introductions, and I've got to go soon.
John the Boy says, "Who else is sleep deprived after watching the inauguration?"
I've been watching it for 2 days straight.
John also says, "It's better than the cheap $3 one I got from Coles." Well, this one's free, so
Free, and
yeah.
it's Australian made.
Yeah, so
And you paid for it in your taxpayer rates anyway. So go get it.
Yeah,
Just go get it. Yeah, at least owed something.
okay, gentlemen. So Trump. That's the big news of everything going on right
It's
now.
the only news at the moment.
So before we get into the clips, because I've got quite a lot of clips lined up, what are your overall reactions and thoughts? I mean, Sam, were you with a moment in history?
Oh yeah,
This
okay.
is like a 11-hour event. I don't know if we're not going to be able to cover everything.
Just his energy, like went to inauguration and all the parties, and get up first thing this
I'm
morning.
glad I'm not the only person that can pronounce
Inauguration. Inauguration.
Yeah, the way in his speech after just being sworn in.
Oh,
and
bold.
the way he embarrassed the Bidens and the Kamalas and the Clintons was just no shame. It's just, I'm going to just say it and I don't care,
But in probably the most respectable
That's
way.
right. Yeah, there was nothing.
He didn't rip him.
No, he just pointed out what they did wrong, and they sat there like stuffed monkeys because they couldn't do a thing.
They didn't stand up and give him ovations. I can tell you
they
that.
were sitting
Once.
motionless. But one thing, another thing, swore in when you got sworn in, it was done by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. But J.D. Vance was sworn in, but not the Chief Justice, but just a normal Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh.
Only you would care about that.
I'm just surprised. I thought both of them would have been done by the Supreme Court Chief Justice, but it wasn't.
Were you? I know you're not usually enamored by American politics, Richard, but what did you think?
Oh, I think it's a historic event, and it'll have repercussions all around the world in all sorts of ways. Like this morning, Dutton announced that he's going to make a whole lot of laws against ESG. And you could say that's a direct link to Trump's war against the woke.
Well, this is the way that his presidency can change the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that we've been hoping for, I suppose.
Yeah.
To think that we're sitting here in Australia and we're watching this thing, we don't watch any other country. All eyes are on America.
I think because leaders of the Western world getting their act together, and then I think we all fall into line. I think it's a precedent setter.
Yeah, and there'll be a turnover of left-wing leaders all through the free world.
Trudeau's
starting with Albanese and not ending with Trudeau and people like that.
Well, let's have a listen. These were his opening remarks.
President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and my fellow citizens. The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first.
So it's basically been the whole slogan of his campaign, "Make America Great Again." He's come out emphatically, and
he just hasn't changed. He hasn't moved off. He hasn't moved off 1 degree. Just, this is what I'm doing, and that's what's happening. I promised you this, and you promised me that, and that's what he's going to do.
I don't think he's had to move off it. It's in such dire straits, and you pick your 4 or 5 major topics and just run with it.
Graham says if Dutton has any brains, he will align with Trump immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of someone you know.
I don't know why Peter Dutton wasn't over there.
We can't.
Why?
Well, he's opposition leader.
Who cares? Get a ticket.
He's in campaign mode.
Who cares? Get a ticket.
The Labour Party would crucify him. Look at you going over there when you should be campaigning. Who do you care about more, the Australian people, or do you care about rubbing shoulders with Trump?
Why wasn't Albanese there?
Well, Penny Wong was there.
Oh, who cares about Penny Wong?
And Kevin Rudd was there.
Oh,
Can you imagine? Can you imagine this moment in history, and we send those people over there?
I think Peter Dutton should have gone over there. I think that come on, look at us. We've been candidates, and we all started podcasts. We meet people all the time. Like he's a leader of the opposition party.
Well, was he invited?
I think you need to be a lot more patient than that. Let's wait until Trump comes out here and see who he spends time with.
Oh, it won't be with Albanese. I can tell you that.
Well, exactly.
I think Malcolm Roberts has got a better shot.
Okay, let's play a few clips because we'll try and get through some of the clips. We're not, as I said, we're not going to be able to get through everything, but this is him getting sworn in.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
So that wasn't an exciting clip. Did you guys notice what I noticed? And I couldn't. I found it hard to concentrate on Trump when he was speaking, because what was Melania wearing? She looked like the Grim Reaper.
Looked like an Undertaker.
The hat was like a big straw hat you find some farmer in the back country.
I didn't get to research it, but apparently there's meaning behind the outfit that she was wearing.
Well, let's have a look, because that did come up on my ex account today, because I'm like, why would you wear that? At least you look like you're going to a funeral. He couldn't even kiss her with the brim of the hat. He couldn't even get close enough to kiss her. And they're trying to, but there has to be a message behind this. Obviously, she was a model and she worked in fashion, so sometimes they do wear some weird things. But this is an historical event. You think you'd just go there in a nice dress and dress conservatively. This had to have been a statement, right?
I think she's setting a trend.
Yeah, maybe.
Bringing back hats.
What do you think about this?
More. I got goosebumps from that. I hope so.
V for Vendetta? I don't know. I mean, people are very clever. I mean, I don't know. It's
they say she's filthy when they raided their place at Mar-a-Lago.
Well, you can tell that from even when they were at the Jimmy Carter funeral.
Yeah.
You could see the death there in her eye.
Oh, yeah.
And because she's Eastern European too, right?
Yeah.
So like they don't already have. See, they already don't like government anyway.
Yeah.
You know, they're already skeptical of government. I'm sure that she would be driving some. I'm not saying that she's, pulling the strings, but I'm sure that she's there speaking to President Trump, saying, "Hey, we're against some of this stuff." I'm sure that she's helping him.
I think that she would. She'd probably be behind him now and saying, and I think she's been behind him from the beginning, but now she's really saying, right, now we get serious.
Well, my wife is South African, and she's far more skeptical of government than I ever was. She was the one who questioned before I started questioning, and her family as well. Like they were just right onto this and go, "No, this is BS. We've got no trust in the government." Whereas I'm like, "Oh, they look after us and all this kind of stuff." And then Tatum really opened my eyes towards this questioning of the government. And, we don't have to listen to exactly what doctors say. I mean, they're all nurses as well.
Well, when the FBI come into your home and start going through your underwear drawer, I mean, it's going to have an effect, isn't it?
Well, it's just, and the thing is, were they, did they have to go through her underwear drawer? You know what I mean?
Richie, you're usually very good at reading people's personality types and reading their motivations and intentions. What do you have to say? Did you pick up anything?
Not much, because she's not an open book.
She was smiling at different stages.
Yeah, she's very reserved. It's very hard to read her.
At the balls.
I mean, I would say that she's probably even tougher than he is.
Oh, I guarantee it. No, I guarantee it. You got to be a tough bloody woman to be with somebody like him.
But she smiled, and I saw the commander-in-chief ball.
And he's very soft with her.
He's very loving towards her. I really see it. And
do you think she's loving towards him?
I don't think she'd be loving towards him in
Not
open
openly,
spaces.
not in public.
No
way.
But I bet you at home it'll be pretty good.
I've seen her glowing over Barron.
Oh yeah.
The apple of the eye.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's a 6'6" monster or something too, isn't he?
We'll get to Barron. Now we're talking about
Is he going to be the president?
Well, let's get
in 2052.
Let's get to that. So we're talking about Melania potentially being a motivation for Trump. This may also be a motivation for Trump.
Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again.
What about that statement, Adam? I mean, when it comes to political speeches, you want to be remembered for all time, and some comments are remembered for all time. Well, that was pretty powerful.
I might be a little bit controversial here. Okay, so maybe devil's advocate. I don't like it when leaders say, "I was saved by God to save you."
That
never ends well.
States, they always talk about God. It's a cultural thing.
I think that might be in words, not like Lincoln's speech at Gettysburg. It's more that photo, fight. That would be
Yeah, you
that-
reckon?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Photo.
yeah, but
the photo in history will be that photo will overtake what words he's actually said.
I love Trump.
I draw historical equivalence to May 10th, 1940, when Churchill sat down at his desk and he wrote in his autobiography, he felt that everything in his life had led to that one moment in time where he sat down at that desk as a 65-year-old to lead Britain out of its crisis. And I think leaders do have a sense of destiny. And when someone tries to kill them, that can be very reinforced.
Oh,
it's a good point. It's a
I
good,
agree
it's a
with
good
that.
point that you make, because I got that feeling when I watched Trump. I don't have the clip, but the aftermath of the inauguration, when he went to that big arena and he was signing all the executive orders, and he walks in and the crowd starts cheering. He's standing there and he gets that little grin on his face, and he puts his arm up, and then he starts going, yeah. Like you can see that he's like, yeah, we got here, we did it. Yeah,
I'm back.
I'm going to do something with this opportunity.
Oh, I think he's going to do. I think his primary mission will be to do things.
Graham says the left love to see things that are not there. Next, they will be claiming Nazi gestures. Oh wait.
Oh wait. Yeah,
it's talking about Musk.
We will get to that, Graham. But before we get to that, we will talk. Adam brought up about things that Trump wants to do. This is something that he claimed that he will do in one of his speeches.
As a first step toward restoring transparency and accountability to government, we will also reverse the overclassification of government documents, and in the coming days, we are going to make public remaining records relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and other topics of great public interest. It's all.
I'm pumped. I want that to happen so bad.
Do you think there's anything really there?
I don't think that he will release. I don't think they will release. I think they'll release something, but not the full thing.
My only take on that is what influence did J. Edgar Hoover have?
Well, that was before our time, so maybe explain that a little bit.
J. Edgar Hoover was in charge of the FBI.
Yeah. But what do you mean by that?
Well, the conspiracy is that the FBI set up the assassination.
Well, I think the CIA is credited.
Would everyone who was involved with that be dead now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My fear is that
have to be.
My fear is that all the incriminating documents have been long disposed of.
Yeah, of course they.
Yeah.
I just think that everyone's dead now, and it wouldn't really make too much difference.
Still people.
It's still good to know the truth, I suppose.
Oh, I want it to come out.
There might have been some junior FBI people in their 25. They're 80 now, so there's still people around.
Well, at the time they said there was evidence of a conspiracy. That was the Warren Commission's finding.
Yeah.
But they didn't know who this conspiracy was headed up by or who instigated it.
Yeah.
Wasn't there some secret sections of the Warren Commission that was never to be released?
Yeah.
I mean, think about
like, is it 9/11? Isn't that's some of that's not
false flag and all that? But think about this. Think about how important that moment in history was. That we weren't even born during that when that happened, and it's years and years later. Stephen and I wasn't. And for me, I think that's a promise that he has to keep. He must keep that promise. He must release the documents.
Yeah, he's gonna have to do it quickly too. But whether the departments comply is a different question.
Well, then setting up a task force.
There'll be some law saying the president can ask for any document at a moment's notice, and it'll be given to him.
I would hope that he's already got a plan.
Well, so far, I think everything's been planned to the minute, so I assume.
Oh, yeah, it's all going to happen.
Speaking of plans, he does have a plan to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Yeah, guys, have any initial thoughts about that?
Well, did you see
Hillary?
Hillary's
yeah, I think I've got that somewhere. But there's some interesting clips out there about this. I'm going to play this one. If you have kids listening, I mean, there's a bit of swearing in this. I apologize for the swearing. Maybe close their ears or something. But and I don't normally play swearing, but this is interesting. So let's hear this guy's take. I don't know if there's any truth behind it or it's just his opinion, but it's at least worth the thought.
So the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America, that chess move has just gone right over everybody's heads. It's chess, people. Trump is playing chess. The potato head in chief, that senile old fuck that's up for retirement, put a ban on offshore drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. Easy workaround, we rename it the Gulf of America. We ain't drilling for oil in the Gulf of Mexico. We're drilling for oil in the Gulf of America, bitches.
Does it work that way?
It's worth
We're about
thinking
to find out.
I mean, surely wouldn't it not be also like landmarked by longitude and latitude and degrees and all that kind of stuff?
Look, I don't know.
Or,
But
you know,
I think the more pressing issue is what's he going to do with Greenland and the Panama Canal? If he took over the Panama Canal, that'd be World War III.
That's war.
Well,
That's a
they've
war
done
move.
it before. I
War with who,
might
though?
point out.
Panama?
Everyone,
China.
because it's a gateway that saves people so much money and time.
Well,
The Americans have been gouged on price by the Panamanians.
Yeah,
the
Well, they
Pan-
built
the
it.
Panamanians.
That's the main
The
game.
Americans built it.
Well, of course they did, but actually, the Panamanian slave labor built it. But
I want to move down there just so I can be called a Panamanian.
Panamanians.
well, the canal zone was handed back by Jimmy Carter in 1979
For $1.
Yeah, it's like it was a joke, and so the Americans have been reamed ever since.
I can understand Greenland because there's a lot of oil and stuff like that. And
Well, I think that was just a distraction away from the canal zone.
You're
He
probably
always
r-
likes to play
you're probably
playing
right.
3 games at once.
that's right.
What about
you know?
people wanting Australia to become the 51st state?
We talked about that last
Oh,
week.
we
didn't
did, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Richard, you might be able to answer this one. Graham says, "Can you ask Trump to look into Harold Holt?"
You know what Donald would say? Who?
Yeah.
I think Harold Holt was taken
Take it.
probably more likely by a shark than a communist submarine.
Dilly Maz says, "Hey gents, welcome to 2025." Yes, welcome, mate. Thank you for joining us. We're off to a good start to the year, I must say. Okay, so let's talk about some other people, some other characters that were at this or involved in this whole Trump movement now. Elon Musk is getting a lot of attention. He was out there. This is Elon.
This is what victory feels like. Yeah. Elections, they come and go. Some elections are, important, some are not. But this one, this one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Now he's getting blasted for doing a Nazi salute. What do you guys think? I think
It's a Roman salute.
Look,
except that he did it wrong. He's meant to have a closed fist when you hit your chest.
well, because it was saying from my heart to
No.
you all. I really believe
I mean,
that.
I just,
I'd have
I
to
don't
look
even
up
think,
what
I don't
exactly
even
meant.
think it's a Roman salute. I think he was saying from my heart to
To
you
you guys, I
Yeah.
think so. And I think just
And I-
these people are socially awkward.
And I think you can tell by his reaction afterwards, and when the camera goes back to him, he goes, oh, you can tell. He goes, oh, well, that
We
might have
shouldn't
been a
have
good
done
thing.
that.
And he tries to amplify the heart.
Yeah.
It's not even my heart's there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nah, there's nothing in it, but anyone's gonna jump on that.
Yeah, I
I
agree
think
with
it's
you.
a 24-hour beat up.
No, that's gonna come. That's something that's gonna haunt you for the rest of your life.
Nah,
that's going to haunt him for the rest of his life, doing a little salute. I think most people will get over it.
no, the most.
Well, it
But
goes,
did they get over it when what's his name, the Premier of New South Wales, was wearing a bloody swastika? Not the current one. Perrottet. I mean, when he was 18 years old. Or,
Got
you know
over
what I
it
mean?
when
I think that
when
no,
Prince
that's completely
Harry
different.
did it.
dressing up in a Nazi outfit is premeditated. Like you make that decision to do
I
that.
agree. Yeah, you got to buy it, you got to or
Yeah.
make it or whatever
Yeah,
you got to
yeah.
do. I get that.
Just
True.
doing like a little.
Look, Trudeau dressing in
Yeah, they're
like-
completely separate issues. This was something he was in the middle of a speech. Obviously, he's mentioned he's socially awkward. He's just riffing. He's not going to any notes or anything, and he just did something that.
And think about this.
It's an absolute
know-
storm in a teacup.
You know what the elation is like. You know what it's
Yeah.
like. You know, we've been there. Like,
Mm.
and we're talking about, Australian small politics. you know, and the emotions that you feel after it.
Yeah,
I mean, your body
John
does
the
stuff
boy makes a good point. He said even the ADL said that he didn't do it, which is a Jewish lobby, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, yeah, they said that. Dilly Maz says, newsflash, he's autistic. And as, what the hell? As a fellow neurodivergent,
what the hell is that?
That seems
Well,
perfectly normal.
That's because he's divergent, neurologically divergent compared to normal, I guess.
Well, he's got obviously a brilliant mind. I think
that's a good insight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
I just think there's nothing in it.
I think it's a storm in the teacup.
Although I do
gave
know
for
why did you
24
do
hours.
that?
He explained it on Twitter this morning or whatever.
Well, people on X are still having fun with it. This is one post that I came across with. Now, this is the Village People, and it says, horrific. This member of the Village People appears to be doing 2 Nazi salutes at the same time.
For do a Y for the YMCA.
I love it.
I thought we got rid of all this sort of thing.
I love it.
John the Boy says, I think he was just overwhelmed. I think
100%.
I think anyone with common sense would come to that agreement.
100%.
Exactly.
I just knew he was going to get ripped for it.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it.
Oh, they're after anything. I mean, that it goes to show they can't get them on anything of substance. It's like when John Howard was Prime Minister and they used to talk about his eyebrow. They couldn't attack him on anything else.
The way he bowled a cricket ball.
Yeah, exactly.
We're calling him Little Johnny.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They got nothing.
They got nothing at all. One reason why Elon probably is excited, he thinks he's going to Mars. Yeah.
Space race, new one.
And we're going to take Doge to Mars. I mean, can you imagine how awesome it will be to have American astronauts plant the flag on another planet for the first time?
I mean, he's excited, eh? Like I love seeing that.
Well,
I love seeing.
He dreams of achieving things, and that's what his next space mission is, to go to Mars.
And the thing
Simple
is,
as that.
and you know, he is an accomplished winner.
Yeah,
they don't dream small.
No.
Like, you know, for you or I to think about going to Mars is, you know, it's just fantasy, right?
Yeah.
For him, it's like, no, well, I've got rockets.
Yeah,
I can catch rockets in midair. I'm going to send one to Mars. Like,
it just goes to show. I remember having a conversation during the New South Wales state election in 2023, and we went to an event where MK Singh was having an event at Parramatta, and I was talking to a Indian gentleman, and he was saying to me, you know, he can't understand why the West and Australia are just eating themselves alive. And he said, you know, why, while you guys are talking about gender diversity and trans issues and diversity and inclusion and all this sort of stuff, India is putting rockets on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
He said that's what civilizations really should be working towards and striving towards and accomplishing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're down here talking about all these silly social issues that mean nothing at the end of the day, arguing over them, you know, having protests over them and whatever is going on. Why aren't we striving to put someone on the moon?
Because as history shows, we're a society in decline.
Well, maybe we're not anymore.
Well, fingers crossed, right?
Yeah.
This is Trump on stage with the Village People. The pomp and circumstance of it all. I mean, it's this clip doesn't want to play. There it goes. I don't know why there's no sound, but look, I mean, this is
it's a party, after party, and he's celebrating and he's happy.
But it goes like all the events that they were having throughout the day, the pomp and circumstance of it all. It's almost like a little bit like the British royalty. Like people like to see them with the crown and the robes and the military people. I like it. I think it's good. I think it's a show of patriotism and
letting his steam off and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think,
That's how you connect with the people.
It shows how sad we are, because imagine us trying to get excited about a federal election.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah,
that's
right.
Geez, more excited about watching paint dry.
Um,
Well, think about it though. It's a way to connect with the people.
Definitely.
I mean, when he's there and you're seeing him in, you know, I like to see them dance. I like to see him with the the village people. I also like to see all the faults that happened with all the glitches in the technology. You know, where music didn't play and cameras
but that girl
failed.
that
And
was singing "America
she
the
nailed
Beautiful."
it.
It was probably better that the music didn't play.
I think because I watched that first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? She bloody nailed that. And then she got ripped. They got criticism for it all. Like, oh, she can't sing this, that, the other. I'm like,
As if she can't sing.
Come on, she nailed that.
She got invited to an inauguration. You wouldn't. You don't send some hobo off the street. You get some.
She was good.
Who can sing.
We only have hobos on this show.
Well, no one near DC. not the
Why don't you
inauguration.
stand up and give everyone a little bit of a
No,
presentation?
don't embarrass the man. He's got nothing on underneath the table.
Cracky dackies.
How about this one, Richard? Graham says, that is the difference between the left and the right. The left focuses on the crumbs while the right eats the bread.
Yeah.
I think the right bakes the bread.
You know what?
The left turns it into crumbs.
I read an article.
Left lets it go moldy, mate.
I read an article about people thinking what this bloke's a right winger and said, "How do you think about the left?" He says the right wingers love their football and beer. The left think about HR and tofu.
That's probably right.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it was Sam mentioned Barron before. This was Barron Trump stealing the show at the whole
A very
day.
tall son named Barron. Has anyone ever heard
Wow, hasn't he got a present?
Yeah,
Nice.
hasn't
Yeah.
You know what? Being trained, mate.
Well, he's
2052.
Look at the confidence. And it's real. It's not staged.
There's really something about him, isn't there?
Yeah.
Do you think it is that he resembles Trump and we see a younger version of Trump in Barron?
Fortunately for him, he looks more like his mother.
You think
They're
so?
both
Yeah.
tall.
He's a good-looking boy.
Trump's tall. Trump is tall. Trump's 6'2".
Melania
6'3".
is tall.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
There is something. I mean, obviously, all of his other kids are up there.
Which
Don
college?
Jr. does a lot. Eric, I don't know. I don't see anyone focusing on Eric Trump.
Which colleges did he go to? Was one of the New York colleges?
Well, Eric Trump's wife runs the Republican Party. Is the leader.
What I'm
the chair.
saying is, for
who's
some
he?
reason, for someone that hasn't really spoken, I've never seen Barron speak in public. You always see Donald Trump Jr. on podcasts. Eric Trump even did a podcast. Ivanka is always
Still a bit
doing
young.
stuff.
What's he only 19? 19.
Something like that. But
Still young.
but there's a lot of focus on him for what reason? What is the reason? There's something about him.
Because he's tall.
No,
it's
they
not
see him as
Well, I mean, like, what was the focus on Paris Hilton? I mean, what's the focus on any of them? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's one of, like they're in that group. I mean, like, I think he's just being built. I think he's being transformed into a next leader.
Yeah, I agree.
He's a bit too young. Still needs
too young.
15, 20 years.
Let him get seasoned.
John the Boy says Trump Mark III. What was Mark II? Or maybe this is Mark II.
No, Junior. Oh, I thought maybe Donald Trump Jr.
No, I think he means
Trump one.
This is Mark II, and
Yeah.
then Barron will be Mark III. Okay.
I mean, I got a lot of hope for Donald Trump Jr. I like Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah.
I think that after this term, I think I just want a bit of a break, I reckon, after this.
How about this comment from Dilly Maz?
I don't think they're people that want to break. I don't think they're people that take a break.
Hold on. Listen, just give me a 3-hour podcast for any political potential leader hosted by Storchy. Then we'll sort the wheat from the chaff.
Thank you.
I think you have a fan. Have we got a Richard Storch t-shirt that person might be able to buy?
We need to get a Richard Storch t-shirt. Dilly Maz also says, wait 10 years and we will only talk about Barron. Multiple languages was the reason Trump did the podcast circuit. Barron won in the election.
Yeah.
I don't know if he won it, but he definitely contributed.
I think, and he talks about Barron pushing him to do those things a lot.
He got the male vote. He got the male vote.
John the Boy.
It was a very important move to go on Rogan.
Well, John the Boy says, saw Dutton do a podcast with Sam Fricker, who's apparently some sort of swimmer or something. I haven't seen it. Graham says,
I wouldn't want that.
Yeah. Now that is just silly. What are these people cheering about? The kid hasn't done anything yet. It is pure propaganda. I don't know. I mean, there's something about. That's what I mean. There's something.
He's got presence.
Yeah.
Do you think they're trying to become the next Kennedys?
I do.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up. You beat me to the punch. I think that the next they're going to be the next presidential.
Well, talk to me about
the next Camelots.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Bobby Kennedy, because he's in the background in a lot of these events. He doesn't look all that happy. He's there, but
he hasn't fronted the Senate yet. So I wonder what they're doing there.
I was going to ask you that question. I haven't seen him. I haven't heard him speak.
He hasn't testified yet, so he can't get. He's got to testify first.
Okay.
He hasn't come up yet. That's what I'm trying to say.
Not his turn.
Not his. Maybe maybe they want. I don't know. A lot of other people have been up on committees, but he hasn't.
I heard it doesn't happen until after the inauguration.
No, some have already been. Like
sure?
Marco Rubio.
Oh yeah,
Marco Rubio, the state secretary.
Because Tulsi hasn't come up yet.
No, she hasn't.
But hasn't
Hegseth has.
Hegseth has. Yeah, Hegseth.
He's already been announced. Like we already know what he's going to do.
Yeah, but it has to get confirmed by the Senate.
Yeah, but maybe they're thinking like we've already said that he's going to do it, so we know he's going to do it. Let's not worry about it. Let's focus on the others that haven't been addressed yet.
I'm just going off his facial. Like he doesn't normally smile. Maybe that's just who he is. But he just kind of looks cranky.
He's not going to like the drill baby drill.
I guess not.
And he's gonna. I think that he's gonna be just put on the medical and the big pharma thing, and that's it. Like he's not gonna have a say on anything else.
He might not like drill baby drill, but Adam, do you like this? Joe Biden issues sweeping pardons for entire family, Dr. Fauci, Mark Milley, and the J6 committee members.
What doesn't say guilty more than that?
Have they accepted their pardons yet? Because you still got to accept it.
Of course they're going to accept it.
Well,
These people do.
That doesn't mean they've been sent.
They haven't been charged of anything. How can you pardon someone with that?
Preemptive.
Preemptive.
You can't do that. Has this ever happened before?
No,
you can't
I'm pretty sure there has been. Yeah.
Can you?
Not preemptive. I don't think preemptive rights. I think
Adam, I want you to preemptively pardon me for any parking fines in Campbelltown.
Oh yeah, okay. I better declare that. Sorry. No. What I was going to say is, so it's guilt. There obviously has to be something there.
To be.
Okay, and
the lefties will say, "Oh, you can." It's clear that Trump's going to go after these people and prosecute them.
That's what they've been.
Why
saying.
Why would he go after Fauci? Fauci was his.
He can't prosecute them, or he can try to prosecute them. He can litigate them, right? And if they've done nothing wrong, they're not going to be found guilty.
I'd like to clarify that it's not that they feel guilty; it's that they are
guilty. Yeah. I agree. No, I agree, mate. And what that he's got a president. So that they've done a presidential pardon. Does that mean for all crimes of future as well, or just up until this date? Or so these people can now have the legal right to go and kill people?
Surely not. No.
Come on.
Well, sure. No, it can't be like that.
Yeah. Well, it's about any,
I think it has to be
non-violent crime.
I think it has
non-violent crime.
I think it has to be specific to a time frame.
Well, answer me this then: is
Fauci
a toxic vaccination mandated to be injected into people's arms a non-violent crime?
You could make a good case there, Adam. I think. I think you could make a case that it's a criminal assault.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a non-violent crime.
Well, I think you could probably change the perception of that.
Well, I mean, they can change the perception of saying something bad against someone, and that's violence as well.
The thing with Fauci and
I think it's easier with something physical.
Yeah, it is. It is puncturing the skin.
Yeah, and if it's done against your will, there's a violence.
But it wasn't.
No, you might have a problem.
This is what I mean. It wasn't.
Just quickly,
wasn't.
Fauci and the Biden family, and this is unprecedented from Hunter and his brothers and sisters and whoever it is. They've been pardoned since they'll be pardoned for what happened from 2014,
mate.
And this is from the gain of functions for Fauci and all that sort of stuff like that when he first started it. And it's when Hunter Biden was on these boards of these Russian and all that, the way back.
You'll have to get Fauci for the HIV epidemic.
John the Boy says, who was running the White House while Biden was president?
Well, that's the biggest question that
it wasn't Biden. We know.
I was going to say. So now
we know that.
No, so somebody told me. I think it was. I think it was my boss from one of my contracts, and he's a very political man. And I think he said that now what's going to happen is that they're going to the Trump presidency or team will prove that Biden wasn't president, and those pardons will be null and void anyway.
Ooh, that'll be upsetting.
Would that be
won't it?
big? That would be massive.
That would have to go to the Supreme Court. And that'd be
Oh, well,
to prove.
and then what happens is then does it mean that Trump's now serving his third term of presidency?
Well, technically, that means he must resign then.
Well,
because he's
how does
had
it work?
2 terms. This is his third.
Now we're going into Q territory.
That's
Let's move
right.
away from
Sorry.
that. Alexandra Marshall on X has been all over it lately. She said this very good comment. Imagine if you'd been told at the beginning of COVID that Fauci would need preemptive presidential pardon for the COVID era.
Era.
Let me start all that.
Oh my God, can I read it?
Yes.
Imagine if you had been told at the beginning of COVID that Fauci would need a preemptive presidential pardon for the COVID era. Would you still have taken the vaccines? We didn't take them anyway, so.
Good question.
But it's a good question.
Well, would you?
Very good question.
That's a great question. That is the question.
I don't know. I guess it depends. I guess we'd have to ask people that were vaccinated how they feel about
I want to
that.
know questions. Maybe put it in the comments here. How do people feel about the mandated child vaccines to get the childcare rebate for putting your children in childcare? I want to know about that because that is something massive that I am going to really investigate. And I know it's off topic.
Well, it's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. So anyone hit me up on my Facebook page and things like that and tell me your experiences and stuff about, daycares, even the council and public owned daycares.
Where do people go for your Facebook? Real Adam Zahra on Facebook.
Adam Zahra Independent.
It's usually in the link in the.
It'll be there somewhere.
What's your Twitter feed?
Just find me.
What's your Twitter handle?
The real Adam. Oh, Twitter. I don't know.
Adam Zahra 2023, I think.
Yeah, Adam
X.
Adam Zahra 2023 or something like that.
Yeah, good to see that.
Just find me. Message ABR. And
Adam Zahra is a pretty easy.
Well, if you type Adam Zahra in Google, my face comes up pretty quick, so you'll see it. Bald head, big beard.
The bottom line, Adam, is that people have this impression that vaccinations were risk-free, and COVID shook that up a little bit. But there's never been a risk-free vaccination. And I've got 2 friends that have had their children crippled by vaccinations.
This is
before COVID.
This is the thing. And what happens is now I'm finding out through RFK and all this kind of stuff. No placebo testing, no long-term testing has been done on these childhood vaccinations, right? They're full of mercury. They're full of all these things. And then you wonder why there's a spike in all these
cancers.
It's not cancers, in neurological diseases, ADHD, all that stuff. And it all correlates as it all rolls in. So it affects everybody. And I just want to say, do I not waste my time, but do I invest my time in investigating this, because I ain't the greatest researcher in the world, and actually pursue this, because I'm actually thinking about, I think it's actually coercion, requesting that parents have their children mandatorily vaccinated to receive benefits from their ratepayers' money.
Yeah, the answer is no. Get someone else that's done the research that you trust, and take it forward.
Mr. Nikolic, we're on.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit obscure. It doesn't really fit into the flow of it all, but this was an interesting comment, or an interesting question that Trump was asked, and then he gave an interesting comment. Maybe Sam and Richard will be able to answer or give some better perspective of this, because Adam and I were probably a little bit young, not totally young, but this is what Trump had to say about Bill Clinton.
You've seen the other living presidents a couple times in the last few months. If you ever had to call on one of them for advice about anything that's going on here, which one would you call?
It's an interesting. Well, I thought Bill Clinton was a very good politician. I don't think he was used properly. I think they disrespected him. When Hillary was running, he came back and he said, you better get up to Michigan and Wisconsin. You remember that, Peter? Every house has a Trump sign on it. And they all laughed at him because the Republicans hadn't won Michigan or Wisconsin for decades, long time. And they all laughed at Bill Clinton. Like, the hell does he know?
Helping opposition. Mate, Hillary goes, "You've cheated on me, And now you're telling my opposition to go and campaign somewhere where he's popular?
No, he was telling Hillary to go campaign there.
Oh.
He was saying, look, because the Republicans had never won those areas.
I thought it was that he spoke to Donald.
No, so Trump was asked, who would you go, what former president would you go to for advice? And he said, look, Bill Clinton was a good president, but he wasn't used properly by the Democrats, and they've disrespected him. And he brought up that example of when Hillary was running. Bill saw that these areas had a lot of Trump signs and said, hey, you better get up there and campaign. Something. And apparently they laughed at him.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I was young. He was around when Howard was around. I still remember. I liked him at the time being a young person.
I'm about 4 years older than you. It was a bit more intuitive to it.
But what are your memories of Bill Clinton as a...
You want to go first?
Well, he did a lot of reforming of economics and globalization and things like that at the time. On policy. He tried, didn't he get the Camp David Accords?
Yeah, he tried very hard to get a peace deal, but the Palestinians walked away from it.
I'm just saying.
He was in tears recently talking about how he got them everything that they wanted, that they said they wanted, like 96% of the West Bank and 4% of Israel to compensate for the change in borders, and the capital in East Jerusalem. That was what they said they wanted. He got it for them. And they just walked away from it. So I'd say his greatest achievement was getting Fleetwood Mac back together. They did the theme song for his campaign.
Or
Don't Stop Believing.
All right.
Was that Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
with Nikki?
Don't Stop Believing in Tomorrow. Yeah.
With Stevie Nicks?
Yep.
Oh.
Okay.
So I'd say that was his greatest achievement, but I'd say that he really wanted peace in the Middle East, and I think he worked everything to do it. And he was a very capable president for his first term. His second term was mired in controversy and scandal, and became completely inwardly focused. But I'd say that intellectually, he was probably the most superior.
Probably
US
better than
president.
Obama.
Yeah,
not much.
Since definitely since JFK. Yeah,
I thought he was very charismatic too. I think he could, the room went silent when he walked in and things like that. Like he had leadership presence.
Do you think his legacy has been tarnished by Hillary? And because Hillary takes a lot of the spotlight now.
Monica Lewinsky.
Monica Lewinsky did it.
Even beyond that, like now, you see Bill and Hillary together. Everyone's really focused on Hillary. What's Hillary up to? And
because it's left ideology, but that's left politics.
Just sitting there, he kind of you see those videos of him perving at the different women walking past and stuff. But that's all you really hear out of Bill. There's nothing.
Because
there's no big focus on him.
All right, here's a conspiracy for you,
and he's slowed up.
What about maybe that Monica Lewinsky was sent in by Hillary?
No.
Oh, come off it.
No.
Why?
To do what?
To
do favors.
So what happened? Yeah. Well, what happens is that now so his shadow is not as big for her to come out from underneath.
No. Monica was a girl that just got caught up in a whole lot of things above her head. There's a
Literally.
there's a mini series about her. She wasn't premeditated or manipulative like that.
Okay.
And Hillary wouldn't have wasted her time. I think that fundamentally she's never really been interested in her marriage. I think maybe in the beginning, but not for a long time.
Marriage of convenience.
John the boy's asking you all a question.
Yeah.
Now that Trump has pulled out of the WHO and Paris Climate Accords, will Dutton step up and say he would if he was Prime Minister? Nope, which is sad.
No, he won't do it. No.
So we're not pulling out of the WHO or Paris?
No.
Not until
it's going to keep impregnating it.
Not until the second election's done with, whenever that is. Why would he want to frighten the horses?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like he's a very controlled, moderate person, Dutton. In spite of the press that he gets that he's a right-wing extremist, he's actually very moderate and controlled.
You only have to say I love my family and I, pray to Jesus to be right-wing extremist. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Okay, Richard, you were talking about Bill Clinton and the and trying to find peace in the Middle East. Trump has seemed to have an influence. The hostages have been released, and there's been a ceasefire. This is the footage of.
Let's not get too.
They've just been let off the tarmac here at Sheba Hospital as they're receiving a hero's welcome here.
So-called Palestinians got
99.
90 political criminals.
Well, they're saying that all the hostages are to be released. You're putting doubts upon that?
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think they're that smart.
Who's not that smart? The Hamas.
The terrorists, Hamas. Yeah.
They're not smart enough to abide by it all.
Not smart enough to release all the hostages.
This is a good image. Two of our panelists looking down at their phones. Thank you, guys. Very professional.
Sorry about that. I am a councillor, and I just received a message from council. So,
well, what's our old mate's?
Sorry.
I don't think you to turn your phone off. If you're not looking at it, it's ringing in the background or something.
Yeah, no, it's just. I thought someone rang me.
What about this, Richard? Dillimaz says, "Wow, Israel. Who cares? It's got nothing to do with Australia."
I think that's been proven to be false.
Look at all what's happening around the inner city of Sydney and Melbourne with all the firebombing of the synagogues.
You've got a new wave of racism and division that's been pushed into this country because of our lack of appropriate response.
Though at the same time, I read something this morning that they've arrested about 10, 15 people, and I think what they've done is they haven't publicised that we've detained these people to make sure the court process goes through correctly.
Yeah.
Do you think Trump will have an influence on these conflicts around the world?
Definitely.
I
mean, he's almost made it a first order of business.
Right. I don't know how
he's already got the hostages deal done. However that pans out, but he had to bully Israel into accepting it. They didn't want to stop fighting.
What about Ukraine and Russia?
Same thing.
That's a hard one. What?
Well, it's not hard. He's just going to say to the Ukraine, we're not going to keep supporting you if you don't accept a deal. And he's going to go to Putin, this is the best deal you're going to get. Take it now.
But the Ukraine's going to have to cede land to Russia, won't it?
Yeah.
Only a small bit of land, as long as Putin gets access to the Dead Sea, so he can get transport.
Black Sea, you mean?
Black Sea, Sorry, that would be his only win.
And Crimea. Yeah, he's going to get to keep Crimea.
He's got Crimea as it is, so he's not going to give that up.
Okay, this was a good story throughout the week. Big shout out to our good friends Jim Wilmot and Katie McCallum. They got an article in the Australian. Queensland locals stand up to solar farm and remove the security fence. So Michelle Hunt owns a property out where she lives, and they put up this fence near the solar farm that was on her property. So Jim Wilmot from Property Rights Australia, and also the lead candidate for the Libertarians in Queensland, organised a bunch of people, and Katie McCallum's smiling face is right in the foreground there, and they pulled down the fence. And apparently it's going to get coverage on a current affair. It's been in the Australian. A lot of comments are suggesting that they're getting a very good feedback from their efforts. So what do you guys think about this? The local community standing up and pushing back for their property rights.
Yeah.
We need more of it.
Absolutely.
This is great.
Yeah.
First step.
And the company is stupid for going that far in the first place. They are incredibly incompetent and stupid because they actually bulldozed a fence to build that thing.
And they set the old fence on fire or something.
Yeah. And then they had bulldozers come in. That's right.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't disrespect people's property rights in this country. You know, it's someone's home that you're disrespecting. It's like, what were these people thinking?
Speaking of Jim Wilmot, he's going for the Senate in Queensland. He's going to be going up against Malcolm Roberts, Jared Rennick, and probably a host of other characters. How do you think he's going to fare?
Well, someone's going to get the false spot, and I don't think it'll be Jared Rennick.
No, I don't think so.
But Malcolm's got a good profile. So it's really between Jim and Malcolm, I reckon.
Look, I think both of them are going to do an equally good job. Malcolm, I feel like Malcolm's been there. We want to, like, if we're complaining a lot about our politicians not representing us, you can't make that claim of Malcolm Roberts. So he should be rewarded by having another term. It's just a pity that Jim's up against him, because you've got two.
We like Jim as well.
Yeah, Jim's a personal friend.
Yeah.
So we've got two very, very good people going for the same spot. It would be much better if they were vying for two separate positions. But looking at Malcolm's health, looking at the state of One Nation, is it possible that Malcolm will get there?
I think either way. I don't think we'll lose with either Jim and Malcolm. I don't think we'll lose if either one of those get elected.
The only thing would be is that in the Queensland state election, One Nation did poll 9%. So that's all the guide.
I think it's a very interesting state, Queensland, because they should get up for Nationals, Liberals, and
here's a question for Sam. John the Boy says, "Who's in line for the 6th spot in Victoria?"
Well, what I've read is that the Libs are polling well in Victoria. So the biggest question, and I said this before our last podcast a month ago, where does the legalised cannabis party poll? They'll poll someone well somewhere. I don't know where. I still think they'll nab something somewhere.
You always bang on about those legalised cannabis parties.
Yeah, they're a quiet sleeper. You've got people in the upper house in state parliaments. Now, if it's the only thing is this is a cost of living election, and will people vote on first world issues?
Here's another here's another comment. Maybe Sam, you want to comment on?
I don't think you quite got to the answer though. The caller was asking for, which is with Victoria.
Well, if
the question is whether the Libs get one or two, isn't it?
Or get the third one.
Well, the third one will be a Nat, won't it?
No, there's no Nats in Victoria.
Yeah. What do you call Bridget McKenzie?
Oh, well, that might be 1 out of 6.
Yeah. So I mean, there is a fair bit of uncertainty.
Well, she's not up for re-election. Well, yeah. Well, once again, it's if depends. Once again, it comes back to what the primary vote is for the Libs and the Labor Party.
Yep, exactly.
And what quota there is and stuff like that now.
And who does a deal with who?
It's not the deal. It's just get finishing front and stuff like that. Now, what is the third quota of the Labor Party or Liberal Party? Labor. They say Labor's on the nose in Victoria.
So one green, and 2 Labor, or 1 Labor?
Who knows?
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Sorry, before we go on to the next point, I am going to take my leave. So, gentlemen, have a very good rest of your podcast. Thank you very much, viewers and listeners, and we really appreciate everything that you donate to us and the support that you give us. And I am going to head out. Thank you very much, Stephen.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
Have a great night.
Thank you, Councillor.
All the best, mate.
We'll just move your microphone out of the way so we're not having to look at it. Maybe Sam, just put it over there. Sam, you can maybe shuffle around a little bit and get more comfortable while Adam unfortunately leaves us. Get nice. Maybe you sit in where Adam's spot was, Sam. Just while we move things around. We'll go back into the old positions. There we go. That's better. Now we're in for a good podcast. John the Boy says, bye, Adam. Here was a question before.
Look, we've come back to that
comment. Answer this. John Thompson, due to the quota increasing, there's a good chance for 2 Freedom candidates getting in.
That's rubbish. That's pie.
That's stretching it a lot.
That's rubbish.
That's a
what people remember is just whatever the primary vote of the 2 majors that determines what comes through.
That's a rainbow thing.
Have you guys heard of Kate Fantinel?
Yeah.
Lady Liberty.
Yeah, I've heard that.
You've heard that? Who's
Australia?
Who's she? Oh, she's
a libertarian.
Oh, okay.
Oh God, that'd be right.
Yeah.
Is she running in state or federal?
Very, very interesting.
Oh, this is not nice, Dilly Maz. Is he gone now? The adults can talk. That's not fair. Nice. Adam's one of my good mates. We had a very good podcast last week too, so check that one out.
Yeah, it comes back to what the primary vote of the two majors are. You know, what if they're polling high, they'll generally stay in front. It's just simply what's their poll, how they're going to poll. On election night.
Speaking of the adults talking, let's start to talk about the Teals. We love talking about the Teals. What's that? Is that your phone?
Yes, mine.
Oh, yours. Great. Now, as you know, Richard, I've been following Miss Allegra Spender, and I'm slowly morphing into a teal. She's slowly chipping away. And now that I've got Zali's flag, maybe I can put this on my head. This is a clip that Allegra put out, and maybe you can do some critiquing of what she has to say.
That's right. Young people are struggling with rising rents and are worried they will never own a home like their parents did. But he's making it sound like this crisis just happened overnight. And in fact, over the last 25 years, house prices have gone up 4 times, but income's only gone up 2 times. That's why if you earn a normal wage, you can't afford a home anymore. Now, the coalition was in power for 16 of those last 25 years. So it happened under their watch. Now, Peter Dutton is blaming migrants. And yeah, we've had a lot of migrants in the last couple of years. We need to get those migration settings right. But again, let's be honest. How many migrants we have right now is what we expected we would have pre-pandemic when the coalition was in power. They're using migrants as scapegoats rather than looking in the mirror and saying, what should we have done differently in those 16 years so that our young people aren't in this crisis? There are 3 things we need to do right now. We need to make it cheaper and easier to build more housing. We need to give better protection for renters, particularly giving renters longer-term leases. And we need to make sure our tax system actually supports people buying their own homes rather than works against it. So we need to get rid of things like stamp duty. Housing is a huge crisis, but until the major parties admit how they have contributed to it, we are not going to move forward. Australians want long-term solutions, not quick fixes that don't work.
Now, I'm very critical of politicians who complain about things and then not give solutions. She gave some solutions.
She did not. How dare she say, let's abolish stamp duty? The state government would fall over in a screaming heap in one day. I mean, what a vacuous, stupid thing to say.
So basically what you're saying is that she's talking about state government issues when she's a federal member and she can't do anything about it.
She's just coming up with glib, vacuous, insubstantial rubbish. That was just nonsense.
Graham says she sounds like a communist.
No, she sounds like an idiot. I mean, really.
Dilly Maz says, damn it, I just threw up in my mouth. I hope she's...
You and me both, mate.
Maybe they're talking about Pauline Hanson. Graham says, Pauline Hanson is now in her 70s. When do you think she will take a step back?
Never.
To die in there. I think she'll die in
Die
there.
with her boots on.
Yes. That's right.
It'd be interesting if Malcolm Roberts doesn't get in. That might change her mind a bit.
Look, I think longer term leases, I don't agree with that.
I think a lot of people would rather have short-term leases. They can move from.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree. But they're imposing too much on landlords. Landlords own these properties, and often they own these properties with big mortgages. They're working hard to try and pay them off.
Yeah.
They're trying to contribute to the country by providing housing for the population. That's why the government is meant to support people that invest in property, because the government can't provide that housing on its own. So it needs private investors to provide that property for people to be able to rent. And they keep imposing more and more restrictions on landlords, and it's ridiculous.
Well, you're right and you're wrong. It's like they don't need to impose more restrictions because stamp duty is a deal breaker. Land tax is a deal breaker. It's like, at the moment, you've got about 160,000 vacant houses in New South Wales, and that's because of land tax. It's the same amount of homeless people we have. It's the same amount of houses.
I think her first point of we're not building enough houses, so much red tape and green tape.
Yeah, but she's not building them in her electorate.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I mean, this is the hypocrisy. It's like she's talking. She wants more migrants to come in, but they're not coming into Wentworth.
No, that's exactly.
You know, so the whole thing is just posturing and hypocrisy from start to finish.
No, I think, yeah, that's right.
Just as a matter of disclosure, I grew up in Wentworth, and my mother still lives there.
Yeah. Dilimaz says stamp duty is fine. Remove income tax. GST is fine as well. At least I get to choose when I get taxed.
Go back to the next one, Jason. Is it the one that
James?
James, what did he say about the quotas?
Of course, you love this one, Mr. Polling Man. In the 2019 Queensland Senate election, the LNP fulfilled 2.72 quotas. If they get the same votes this time, they will fill 2.5 quotas, meaning there's more of a chance for number 5 and number 6 to go to Rennick or Jim.
Rubbish. What are they going to poll? They're 0.2 of a quota. That's not going to
Rennick won't poll well.
Rennick
won't go anywhere. But Jim might, and then Malcolm. You'd think Malcolm would get back in. Hope.
That's right.
Yeah. Graham says yes. Income tax in Oz is out of control. Yes, I agree with that. It was never intended to be for the working class. Bracket creep is insane.
Well, that's where that stage 3 tax cut. The stage 3 tax cuts were to stop bracket creep.
They were to give back some of the money they were already taking.
Another Albanese failure.
It took it took a layer of
well, it took one tax
bracket. So you went from one bracket to another, and that was it.
Now, speaking of the Teals, which we'd love to talk about, Richard, you're going to talk about Sophie Scamps and an email that you received.
Oh, yes.
Have you got that one ready? So, why are you getting Sophie Scamps' emails anyway?
Because we went to a meeting, Doug Rennie and I. We went.
Oh, that's right. And they just put these things on to get your email.
Yeah.
So they can then spam you.
So
James Thompson, mate, here we go. Here we go, Sam. It's revving up. Rennick has the highest Facebook following of any senator after Pauline. He's got decent support. Facebook following means nothing. Look at Craig Kelly. Craig Kelly had the third highest following
retweets
in 2022, and he got nothing. So, I mean, you can't go off social media.
That's exactly right.
Look, we're all in agreement. He's a very good man. The problem is that he's not recognised for what he is,
and he hasn't got
for who
resources. Hasn't got the resources. Got nothing.
Yeah. Graham says less tax equals more local spending equals productive local businesses.
Oh, absolutely.
Dilimaz says Teals just threw up again.
So I got this email from Dr. Sophie Scamps. Says, coal lobby funds attacks. Dear Richard, the election could be called within weeks, and the attacks we warned you about are here. Generically named Australians for Prosperity just launched a series of ads spreading misinformation about our campaign. Who's behind it? A one-term Liberal MP who lost his seat to the Greens, backed by $750,000 in coal lobby cash, trying to drown out our community voices. She's talking about Julian Simmons, who was the MP for the seat of Brian in Brisbane, and lost his seat to the Greens. But they won't keep it, believe me. These false attacks undermine our say on who represents us, what we stand for, and what happens to the beaches and bushlands we call home. We stand for integrity in our politics and protecting our way of life here on the northern beaches, and that rattles the cages of the coal lobby and those who support politics as usual. If we want McKellar to hear our message over the coal lobby, then we need to deliver it straight to them. We plan to send mail-outs of our achievements and what we stand for.
What about the renewables lobby?
Every letterbox in McKellar. But these mail-outs can cost tens of thousands of dollars.
No.
Can you chip in?
Well, you only spend $2 million on your campaign, so that doesn't mean, tens of thousands of won't mean.
These fossil fuel lobby attacks are coming because our campaign is working. After years of fighting, the Commonwealth government has rejected the PEP 11 license to drill for oil and gas off our local shores.
Why don't they put an offshore wind turbine?
That's such horseshit.
They can build an
They were
offshore
never
wind
drilling
turbine
for oil, and the
Capella.
gas they can get anywhere else much easier and cheaper. So it was never going to happen. This girl knows nothing about commerce, business, finance, or economics. She just knows nothing.
John the boy says he reads insincere emails the same way I do.
From the beginning, we have fought for a safer climate, and we've stood for greater integrity in our politics. From a National Integrity Commission to ending jobs for mates, political appointments. Well, that's gone so well. But standing for what's right makes enemies. It challenges the fossil fuel lobby's influence and threatens their hold on Canberra.
What influence does the fossil fuel lobby have? I mean, they're not building any more coal plants. Nothing's happening. They have no influence.
I mean, these are just
Do they even
false
exist?
accusations. Anyway, together we'll keep going, knowing the truth spreads with every volunteer in a blue shirt, every poster, sticker, ad, hat, and dog bandana.
Dog bandana.
And with your help, we'll tell voters about the end of PEP 11 and all our other achievements in mail out straight to their mailbox.
Hang on, she's had a whole email. The only achievement she's talked about is PEP 11.
Yeah, which was never going to happen.
And
our campaign is made up of local mums and dads who talk to me every week about protecting their families from climate harm, not corporate lobby groups. Together, we'll show them that 750,000 in cold cash can't defeat a community determined to decide our own future. We'll tell it to McKellar voters straight and deliver the message straight to their door. With hope and determination, Dr. Sophie Skull, MP.
John the boy says, any word on Snowy Hydro?
Still digging.
Still digging at the digger.
Graham says, please ask Richard to put his arm down. I don't want people to get the wrong idea.
Oh, look, when you're doing a Joan of Arc impersonation, you've got to raise your arms. And I mean, what I draw attention to is the hysterical undertone of that whole letter, and that's the thing about all the Teals, that they are, when they get stressed, they become quite hysterical and completely unreasonable. So that's why you get that hysterical undertone. It's part of the
it's just another notch in the hypocritical belt of the Teals, because they're talking about the coal lobby and being so powerful. But if the coal lobby was really that powerful, we'd have coal plants everywhere. And we wouldn't be blowing them up.
We built a coal-fired power station, 2007. Gee, the coal lobby's going so well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what a pinhead.
Well, speaking of a pinhead, I couldn't get the clip of this, but this Tony Armstrong, he's come out and said that people will need to start paying voluntary reparations. Look, I mean, to obviously to Aboriginal people. Look, I think if people want to pay voluntary reparations and they want to part with their money in that way, I mean, who's to say that they shouldn't?
Tony, I've got a message for you. It's personal. Kiss my ass.
But do you think this is a bit of a storm in a teacup, or is there more behind this?
Look, this is exactly like in The Voice. The more these people say, the better it is for ordinary Australians, because we start seeing just how unhinged and ridiculous they really are.
Yeah.
I mean, but by the same token, we've still got to call it out. We've still got to ridicule them and mock them.
Yeah.
I mean, this clown's a ridiculous.
It's just a bit of
privileged elitist.
It's just a bit of publicity for him before Australia Day and things like that. There won't be much trouble this year.
Do you think there'll be any people out there who will take up the opportunity to pay voluntary reparations? Do you think that will happen?
There'll be some bleeding hearts around, but that's about it. There won't be much in that. Be interesting if there be much protest on Sunday. Be interesting if any rubbish goes on, because this is, I think I said to you a month ago, is that the Greens won't cause any trouble because they're in election mode.
Yeah.
And they don't want any bad, like they send them a statement and say we've got to spend $10 billion on schools.
Were there any protests with Trump?
None. The day before, there's some Trump there's about 50,000 people, so it's just the locals probably protesting.
Yeah.
So there was nothing. They can't protest on anything because he won everything. He won the House, he won the popular vote. All that.
Yeah.
But coming back locally, be interesting if the Greens do any protests on Sunday and cause. Now Lydia will go off a cracker, but that Lydia doesn't come under the Greens. But
Socialist Alliance, maybe
they will be.
They're very strong in Victoria,
and they're strong up here too, mate.
Are they?
Oh yeah, they're behind the Greens and things like that too.
Yeah,
yeah.
No.
But they won't cause a lot of trouble. Well, the Greens won't put their heads up. That's all. They're in election mode.
Yeah.
Look, I think it comes down to attitude and how you look at things. And obviously this Tony guy, I've never even heard of him, is looking at things a certain way. I thought he was at the ABC for years. Yeah, well, that explains it. But this clip is interesting. And this is another take on what you might call white supremacy.
You're saying black folks created that name white supremacy.
That's correct. From Africa, because we are just amazed by the things they've done. Well, we describe them always by inventions. That's all. They can command water from far away through tubes into their bedrooms. We can even fetch a bucket of water from the next lake. You will be drowned. They can put electricity. We never had one in Africa. They have airplanes fly over us. It's amazing. Everything they've done is the reason my people say these people are superior, not because of slavery. They came to colonize us and they brought things we have never seen before. They gave a king a mirror and he was dancing and sold his people away. They brought guns we have never seen, boom, and killed somebody right away. You know what they used to do in the Congo?
Right.
They put dynamite in the rocks and then they hide the switch. And then when they point their finger, it go boom. And the Congolese till today, they call the white man kiboom, the sound of the dynamite. And then they go down and they go like this. If they're not superior, why do you see every picture when the white men arrive in Africa, we're bowing to them? We have never seen a gun kill a human being. We have never seen a mirror. We have never seen a radio tune in and somebody speaking from England, the Queen's voice. So for us, all these things, these people must be really superior and close to God. They used to have a joke in Ghana that when God said, let's pray, the white man opened his eyes. The black people were covering his eyes. So the white man saw how God created the world. That's why.
I think you kind of get the message. So, it's a different attitude, it's a different take on things, a different perspective, isn't it? And it just goes to show how you can deal with different issues based on how you perceive them.
Yeah.
And I don't know who did the quotes on that, by the way, but look, how do you feel about that, Richard? Do you think that
colonialism's part of history? You know, it was part of the transition from open slavery to economic slavery. So it was a halfway house.
Hmm.
And as a halfway house, it had lots of imperfections.
Let's shift to someone that you have a high regard for. This is Chris Minn's talking about immigration.
It's one of the reasons why we have far stricter and far tougher hate speech laws in Australia than they do in the United States. And I don't make any apologies for that. The reason we do is because we want to protect what can be a very fragile community that we've built in Australia, the multicultural community of 2025, and that's not up for debate, and it's not up for a change.
Now, he's saying it's not up for debate. That kind of flies against what Parliament should be, where you have a debate about everything. Are you concerned that he's using this type of language, that he's saying that you can't debate a specific issue?
No, I'm not concerned about it at all.
Yeah, I'm not too. I think he stood tall.
Yeah, but I think it's a bit dangerous for him to say you can't debate something.
No, he said that he's basically misspoke a little bit. He said that debate's over. The laws are in place. They're in place for a reason. And he said today that he's gonna enhance them. So he's been absolutely clear in his direction, and he's also been humble enough to apologise for not acting quickly enough after October 9th, the demonstrations at the Opera House. He's owned that as a mistake, which I admire. I haven't heard too many politicians own up to making mistakes.
I think he's been very good.
Yeah,
I still think it's dangerous to say that you can't debate an issue. You should always be able to debate an issue. It's like saying the science is settled. It's ridiculous.
Okay, so what?
But you might say that, and you might even be saying it for argument's sake, Stephen. But you actually believe that at a certain point the talk needs to stop and action needs to be taken, don't you?
What type of action?
the required appropriate action.
Yeah, I mean, I just get worried when leaders
Steve,
start to say the debate is
complained to
over.
me endlessly about people talking without end and meaningless prattle.
Yeah,
well, we know
actually
what the
getting into
situation
action.
is what's
So you know, I'm just saying that, you know, Chris Minn is very similar to you in lots of ways, and he likes taking action rather than talking about things.
Taking action or just being authoritarian?
Well,
Both.
I think what's happened the last couple of months, I think he stood above tall one of the major politicians in the country over this stuff and what's happening in the synagogues and all that. And I highly commend it. Anyone who would debate that sort of stuff.
Well, as we've
what
agreed,
would Ruddock what would a Ruddock say on here? He's got parliamentary privilege. You know, what would he say to that sort of stuff? Is a cut and dry?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's a non-debate. It's just, you know.
And also it's like, you know, this is very much a malignancy, if not a cancer.
Yeah.
That's going to spread in our society and create more and more intolerance.
And as I said to you before, that they've arrested people, but they haven't made a song and dance out of it.
Yeah.
Because they want to go through the proper courts and the laws to get these people in jail. So they haven't made a song and dance saying we've arrested 20 people and these are the names. And this is this and this and that. Yeah.
But, you know, in conclusion, Sam, as we've said before, the best Liberal Premier the state's had since in the last 100 years.
Yeah.
You know, he is a Liberal Premier from the Labor Party.
He's an old-fashioned right-wing Sussex Street from he's from the Shoppies. No, he's not. I think he's from the fighter. But he's a proper Labor right-wing politician.
Who's authoritarian?
I think he's even better than that.
He's there as for as long as he wants.
Yep.
He'll get to 31 and retire in 32 and go and do something else.
Become Prime Minister.
I don't think.
I don't think there's not many state politicians go to Canberra after being in the firing line for 5-10 years as a
Bob Carr.
He'd be exhausted after.
Yeah, but he got
Christina Keneally.
Oh, she's just a political prostitute, you know.
Oh, God. All right, okay. All right.
From Scotland Island, to Liverpool.
All right,
and she got her just desserts eventually.
Let's she lives in Scotland Island. Wow. Okay.
I think she's Scotland Island.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is a bit. This is an issue I haven't really discussed with you fellas at the moment. Abortion. This is a clip put out by Monica Smith, which I don't know how old this is, but I think this was interesting. So I think it's worth playing.
Joined today by Heather, who is 34 weeks pregnant, and we are in Brisbane CBD, and we're going to be asking people if they think it's legal for Heather to have an abortion here in Queensland. So let's see how we go. Do you think it's legal in Queensland for her to have an abortion?
No, I'm doubtful.
Oh my goodness. How many weeks pregnant?
No, 34 weeks. No, 34 weeks, no. No way.
No, maybe not.
I said no.
At 34? No, I don't think so. No, probably too far along.
She can. Abortion is legal up till birth.
Wow.
So even 38 weeks, 40 weeks.
You're about to push out the baby. It's a bit late.
Not at that stage,
No.
I don't think. No,
Well, she can.
she can. It's appalling, isn't it?
Well, actually, it is legal to have an abortion up until birth. Just concluded our interviews, and the most shocking thing for me was that not one of them knew that it was legal to have abortions in Queensland and all over Australia right up until birth.
Did you guys aware of that?
No, I didn't.
I'm aware of that. It's an issue which bitterly divides the Libertarian Party, so much so that we try not to talk about it.
What's the Libertarians' policy on that?
Oh, at the moment we support abortion on demand. Period. End of story. But we
up
do
to 38 weeks. Then.
We do have a conservative faction that's very, very unhappy with that.
That's right.
Wants to stop late term abortions. I'm not part of that faction, by the way. I believe in late term abortions on demand. However ugly and messy and bloody and traumatic.
So what? So 40 weeks you're okay with?
Yep, I'm okay
Why?
with it.
Why?
Because
ridiculous. I feel like slapping you or hitting you. Or
I know you do, Stephen. But it's like I am true to my values and beliefs.
Who's
John the Boy says another reason why I am not libertarian. Good on you, John.
Who's the leader of the Conservative?
Join the
This
party
is the
and
dark
change
side
it.
of the libertarians. This is what I'm trying to highlight on this show. A lot of people go, "Oh, it's a freedom party," and they're all about being free. Yeah, free to kill babies at 40 weeks.
Yep.
Richard,
it's not even funny.
Who's the leader of the Conservative Libertarian part of it faction?
I try not to speak to them.
You'll have to tell me off air.
I told you it's one of the areas of bitter dissension, but it's like it's like
John says
we're
it's
trying not to.
cold-blooded murder.
Yeah, I understand the view. I do appreciate the view. I just don't hold it.
Fair enough.
Why do you think it's okay?
Because we all come back anyway, so doesn't matter.
You. I think we just lost half the audience.
Well, that's okay.
Dilly Maz says, I don't care about the abortion debate when Australia doesn't have enshrined freedom of speech and right to self-defense.
Well said.
Oh, I don't know. Killing babies is a big issue, I think.
I didn't know. When
my days of procreation are long past, so it's really not something that I'm going
because
to be involved in.
The abortion debate was prominent in the Queensland state election.
Yeah, was brought up.
And it saved. I reckon it saved a few Labor seats in the inner city.
But you see, this is the hypocrisy of it, because what Labor were actually talking about was late-term abortions, but they didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, they threw it back on Christopher. That's all.
All right, let's wrap up. We'll wrap up by talking about the Bradfield by-election, which recently happened. Now, this was a contest for the Liberal Party.
Candidate selection.
Yeah, so pre-select. What did I say?
Pre-selection. You said by-election.
Pre-select. Sorry. I even wrote down by-election. Pre-selection. Now, the pre-selection was between Michael Fennelly, Giselle Capterian, and Warren Mundine. Giselle won with 207 votes. Warren got 171. Michael Fennelly got 16, and there were 2 informal votes. I don't know how Liberal Party can have a pre-selection and have informal votes, but
well, if you're a person who's entitled to vote, you can vote informal.
Or maybe you wanted to abstain or something like that. But this is what I found interesting. Now, the pre-selection happened, then that afternoon, Giselle, who's now the candidate for Bradfield, put out this Instagram post.
Hi everyone, I'm Giselle Capterian. I'm your Liberal candidate for Bradfield. I am excited to represent this community and I'll be hitting the ground running. You'll see me out and about. Come up and say hi and let's get Australia back on track.
Authorised by CtN Liberal Sydney.
Now, more than what she said, because it was just a pretty standard.
Doesn't she look like a teal?
Yes, but
she looks
look
like
at this.
one.
Look at this.
She sounds like one.
She's won the pre-selection, and then that afternoon, she's got all her artwork completed and authorized. Don't you think that's a bit weird when she's going up against Warren Mundine?
Did she repurpose her stuff from North Sydney because she was endorsed?
It says
for North
Liberal
Sydney.
for Bradfield.
Yeah,
well, they might have just changed the one word.
Have you not been in one of these political parties and how long it takes them to get?
No, I haven't been in one of these political
how long
parties.
it takes for these?
Unlike you, that's been a serial party joiner and leaver.
2 parties. 2 parties.
Actually,
you're calling me a serial party leader.
I actually I spoke to her yesterday afternoon.
Yeah. Did you ask her why she had her artwork done like that afternoon?
A lot of her stuff has only just been coming through to print by the end of this week. Honestly.
But how do you get your artwork that quickly if you don't know what the outcome is
that's
going to
the
be?
IT guys who can just do it up and put a spin on and download it on Instagram. That's not hard. Come on, mate. Even I can work that out.
But this is, they're hopeless. I just think it's a bit, it raises my eyebrow. How did she get her artwork so quickly if she didn't know she was going to win?
Well, I don't know if I should say this on the record or not, but
here we go.
And I live close to Giselle too. I'm not far away.
Yeah.
And
You're not stalking her, are you?
I was a point.
We've got one that wants to kill babies, another one that's stalking political candidates. No wonder I'm a serial party.
That is a bit of an exaggeration.
But no, she told me a few things last night, and she just thought that she thinks she's representing everyone, and a couple of branches went against her, and that's why Mundine got a lot of votes.
I heard that Mundine had the support of the members. She had the support of the head office.
Well, she contradicts it. It's the other way around.
They always do.
Yeah, she would.
And I think I know why they'd
She would
abstain of
say.
2. I reckon they abstained to try and get a second vote. They didn't think Giselle would get 50% straight away.
Richard, you want to talk about her as a candidate now?
And I saw
the pre-selection. Do you think she'll go well against the Teals?
I think the Teals are going to throw everything they've got at Bradfield. Whether she can withstand that or not is another question.
She knows it's a hill. She knows. I talked to her, and she said it's going to be huge.
It's going to be a big fight.
Big fight. It's going to be huge.
What I would say is that she's got the advantage of a lot of voters from North Sydney that are new voters, and they will have had 3 years' experience of Kylie Tink, which wouldn't have moved them very much, I don't think.
Well, if you look at some of the elections,
and I think, and also there's a lot of people like me who voted against Trent Zimmerman and put the Liberals last, and we were prepared to accept anyone, and that's why Trent Zimmerman and Jason Falinski lost their seats, because they were completely ineffective.
So we just found out that Richard
voted Teal,
voted Teal as well to all the other things that we've heard on this podcast.
I didn't vote Teal. I put the Liberals last, and that meant that that my preferences flowed to the Teal candidate, who was.
Dilly Maz says, really appreciate this podcast, gentlemen. No homo, except for Storchy a little bit. Richard, after everything that you've said on this podcast, at least in the last 10 minutes, I think your punishment is to spend a night with Dilly Maz. And John the Boy says, the way you two are going, Stephen will have to start his own party. Graham says, lack of funding will be the demise of the Teals. They will not and will not be propped up forever.
Graham,
they've got a lot of money at the moment.
Graham, money is not a problem.
People want to comment on the Teals. That I don't know where Graham lives. I'm assuming he lives outside of Teal electorates. When you see it,
you just know
that they're not going.
The only
anywhere.
time, as Giselle said to me, said we know what's coming. People know what they were.
Do they? I really don't think so.
They know.
I don't think you know what's coming.
Yeah,
you're talking about standing on a polling booth in Manly. I don't think you know what's coming.
But see, I think the Teals will make a mistake with Zahra. I don't think they'll campaign that hard in Warringah.
You know, her campaign office is right up from the polling booth as well. You'll be able to go in there for a cup of tea after a hard day.
I'll try and do that.
Yeah, good.
We'll see how that goes.
Dilly Maz says, don't threaten me with a good time.
Is your
honestly a photo of Dilly Maz.
Is your man still running in Warringah?
Yes.
I was told the other day that he's having second thoughts.
No, he's not.
Okay.
No, they put a scare through him and said we may not let you back in.
Oh. The clerk probably said,
Okay.
"Oh, you idiot!"
No one knows what you guys are talking about. So
the people in the party, we have a high-profile candidate who we'll be announcing soon.
Let's finish up. Let's finish up by encouraging everyone to please head to australiansforbetter.com. Sign up to be a member. As I said, membership is currently free. We are having our first members meeting this week. So if you want to contribute or be a part of Australians for Better, you get to talk to Kevin Lockbray and talk about the direction of Australians for Better. Maybe if you have some suggestions or questions, or you just want to hear the great man speak. I will also be on the meeting talking about our press release this week and some plans that we've got coming up very, very soon. So please head to Australians for Better. If you would like to change a lot of the issues that we've been talking about on this podcast, not just this podcast, but previous podcasts, when it comes to our system of government, this will be a big way of doing it. Head to the website, learn about our mission. Also read some of the articles. You can read the press release on there. You can. We've also got. I better talk about this as well. Not only do we have Kevin announced as our president, because we are an incorporated association now. I will be the vice president, but we also have other members. Tony Bauer, who's been on this podcast, she's the secretary. Adam Zahra is a patron as Campbelltown councillor, and also we have an honorary ambassador ambassador to the UK and Europe, which is Lee Evans. Will be announcing more people as we go along. But please join us. The momentum is moving in our direction. It's been very exciting, actually. So we encourage everyone to do that. But for now, we better sign off. John the Boy says, ABG Foundation member. Thank you very much, John. And John also says, after hearing Richard, I might put the Liberals above the Libertarians. On that note, we better finish off. But thank you for watching. It was a jam-packed episode. I hope you enjoy the jam-packed ones. Covered a lot of issues, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you very much.